most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. Another day of warm temps and sunshine. Here's Michael with a check on your forecast.
It's going to be absolutely beautiful outside. We can zoom in here on the 4-state map. Check out the Skywatch storm tracker. Clear as can be. Now temperatures still kind of down around the freezing mark there, minus Joplin and portions of southwest Missouri, including Carthage, Monette, and Neosho, that have already bumped up into the 40s. Look from the Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin. A little bit of a wind chill in effect as the wind continues to come in from the southwest. And it really isn't making too much of a difference, even where we see those 40s throughout southwest Mo. Still feels like mid-30s today as the cold front is officially retreated. As far as what we have for future track, check out these numbers. Whoa, pushing up into the high 60s later on today. Extremely mild overnight. This is hard to beat right here. You know, if you factor in our low from last Tuesday, that was a record-setting 15 below zero, and throw up a 68 today, that's about a, 83-degree difference in temperatures in the span of 1 week. A little bit of rain there on Wednesday and Thursday, but still pretty mild for the latter third of February, right into the weekend with a pair of 57s on Saturday and Sunday. Tanya?
I like to see getting up to 68 today. That's beautiful. Well, the Jasper County and Newton County Sheriff's Offices are working together on a homicide investigation, and that's because the victims were found in each of their counties. The murders happened this weekend. Authorities have identified 2 of the victims found in Avila, Missouri. They were 34-year-old Mason McClure and 34-year-old Nicole Hodges. Investigators say both victims had multiple gunshot wounds. The third victim, 25-year-old Briley O'Banion, was found in a ditch along State Line Road and Angus Drive in Newton County. Authorities have arrested Kevin Johnson, a 24-year-old from Reeds, in connection with the murders. Johnson is charged in Jasper County with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of armed criminal action. A trial date has been set for a Joplin man charged with multiple child sex crimes. Daniel Franklin heads to court March 9th with 4 days set aside for trial. His charges include multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. Yesterday was Sarah Burton's 31st birthday. Burton went missing a couple of years ago. Authorities are once again asking for the public's help in finding her. Burton was reported missing on July 16, 2018. Police have followed numerous leads in Joplin, Newton County, Oklahoma, and Kansas, including several searches, but they have not found anything. Of course, if you have any information, you're asked to contact the Joplin Police. Newton County Health Department Administrator Larry Bergner says the department is getting 975 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine this week. Bergner says the department will be partnering with Prater's Pharmacy in Seneca and Mitchell's Pharmacy in Neosho to provide greater access to the vaccine in the county. Health Department is having an appointment-only clinic on Thursday in Neosho, and the pharmacies are setting clinics at their locations. Joplin City Council met to discuss the city's future. One item on the agenda has to do with the city's 2021 action plan. It includes addressing declining neighborhoods, homelessness, increasing economic opportunities, reducing crime, and improving city service levels. Joplin City Manager says the cost could vary and would depend on what proposed plans end up passing. At last night's work session, the Joplin Chamber of Commerce and Missouri Southern presented their plans for Project Launchpad. Project Launchpad is a proposal that would turn the old library into a business incubator. It would feature areas for entrepreneurs to get their businesses off the ground. That includes 3 culinary incubators for budding restaurateurs. It would also be what they're calling the new front door for Missouri Southern to engage businesses and prospective students.
Fun to have high school students, college students in the business community actually being an active part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Joplin.
Partial funding for the project would come through grants. A Kansas couple that's been stuck at home has built a new home. It's just really tiny. Ellen Shope reports they're using their creation to help others.
He came home and I said, I've got this great idea.
Just on the market, this mid-century modern design.
A basement garage,
It's a 3-bed, 1-bath, office area and game room.
furnace room, laundry room.
And it's fully electrical at 1/12 the size.
We had never done anything like this before.
Could have fooled me. This mini house is not only completely to scale with family pictures, a mini dollhouse inside the mini house. It's even got KC barbecue on the grill. They say finishing the project kept thoughts of the pandemic at bay.
And it was just a great diversion.
The family posting pictures of the mini house on Instagram with a link to make a small donation to the Alzheimer's Foundation.
We can take what we created and bring awareness to the Alzheimer's Foundation.
The bathroom, real tile, individual cut floor panels grouted in the entryway, and custom designed miniatures from
Israel, Spain, Germany.
It's a dream house Annie says that's full of memories.
Every single one of our family members in the house.
It was challenging figuring it out.
We tried to make it as realistic as possible.
A simple way to help a charity and close the door on the pandemic.
It's cute. Again, that was Alan Shope reporting. It's 5:07.
Unseasonably warm temperatures today. Sunrise at 6:57. After that, quickly warming up all the way into the 60s by the noon hour, close to 70 this afternoon. South wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Not as blustery as it was yesterday. Slight chance for some early morning Wednesday rain. Nothing severe. It'll be quick in and out. Probably won't even know that it happened. Temperatures still very, very nice as we head into the weekend.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, COVID precautions.
It sure doesn't look like it used to. I'm Wendy Gillette. I'll show you how the city is doing since the pandemic hit and the precautions casinos are taking.
Plus, baseball has finally started for Pitt State. We'll have highlights from the team's home opener and weather delays, vaccine rollouts, what you need to know about rescheduling your appointment. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Baseball season finally here for the Pittsburgh State Gorillas after having 3 games canceled last week. Gorillas at home for Game 1 yesterday, hosting Missouri Western. Pitt State with high expectations picked to finish 4th in the MIAA preseason poll. 2-1 Pittsburgh State, second inning. Check out the throw from Grayson Pinkett. Don't you run on me. Whew, out by about 9 miles. Gorillas hold on to the 1-run lead. Bottom 2, Blaine Olmeyer goes the other way, seeing eye past shortstop. Here comes Dawson Pomeroy. All the way in from second base. Pitt State back up 2 runs. Big inning for PSU. Garrett McGowan. Get you some. 3-run homer. His second home run of the day. He drove in 6 runs. Bottom of the 5th, Ryan Koval, bases loaded. Just misses the grand slam. Off the wall in center field. Clears the bases. He's in with a stand-up triple. Big day at the dish for Pittsburgh State as they take the opener over Western 17-12.
You know, it took us 2 touchdowns and a field goal to have a chance to win. But, you know, again, we're learning. We got a lot of baseball games in the next 5 days. You know, excited for our offense that played well today, and we got to come back out and play better tomorrow.
Just really concentrated, and I was seeing the ball well, and I put a couple good swings on balls, and, you know, things happen.
Back on the field this afternoon, and it's going to be a glorious day to watch some college baseball as the Gorillas host Northwest Missouri State at 2 o'clock. Missouri Southern Lions wrapping up the MIAA Great Lakes crossover yesterday. Lions 5-0 to start the year have made it up to number 19 in the rankings. Southern on the field against Missouri S&T, formerly Missouri Rolla. Miners load the bases in the top of the first, but Will Bossinger gets out of it. Not one, freezing. Back-to-back strikeouts were scoreless. Second inning, more from Bossinger. 5 Ks in the first 2 innings. He had a total of 9 as he went 5 complete. Bottom of the second, bats get going. Bases loaded for Dexter Swims. Right down the line, everybody comes home. Swims in for the double. Make it 3-0 Lions. Everybody scores. Later, still 1 out. We got runners on the corners for Troy Gagan. We no longer have runners on the corners for Troy Gagan. 3-run homer. Southern gets 12 runs in the second inning alone. Southern 6-0 for the first time since 2016. Win this one 14-1. On to softball, where Pitt State finishes up the UCO Festival with a pair of games. In the first one, East Central beats the Gorillas 11-5. Mackenzie Goswick goes 1 for 3. She drove in 2 runs. And the nightcap is Oklahoma Christian over Pitt State 10-4. PSU back at it on Saturday. They will be in the Washburn Invitational. Galena Bulldogs, one of the hottest teams in the state right now, as they've won 15 straight games. Last loss, got to go all the way back to December 15th. Last night, Galena on the road against Colgan, trying to stay rolling, just a week left in the regular season. Early on, Tyler Little. Good look ahead to Kobe McLaughlin. Galena out to the early lead. Then check out Little on the smooth spin move. Hello. Colgan hangs around. Jalen Van Beesler on the break. Score that and foul that. It was a good one, but Galena makes it 16 straight. Final score, 43-35. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, the Biden administration says the U.S. will return to the Iran nuclear deal, but there's one condition. We'll have those details just ahead, and to check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Just about 5:17 on this Tuesday morning. Now, we're not going to worry about the record there from 2017 where we had an 83-degree mark on February 23rd. But at average high of 53, we've already gotten close to it in some places. We haven't even got close to sunrise as of yet. It's going to be unseasonably warm and just a delightful Tuesday with a whole bunch of sunshine and really not much to speak of throughout the entire Midwest. Already throwing up low to mid 40s throughout southwest Missouri. It's 41 in Monette and 43 in Carthage. A little bit cooler throughout southeast Kansas where it's 30. And then much, much cooler in northeast Oklahoma where Miami and Grove sit at 28. From the Freeman Health System Sky Camera in Joplin, a comfortable 42 with just a little bit of a wind chill. But once again, with the wind coming in from the southwest as eventually a little transition from the south, helps us out temperature-wise. And we'll look at the numbers go down. So even though we do have a little bit of an elevated fire threat, at least we're not having to put up with the 30-mile-an-hour southwest gusts that we had yesterday. Bus stop forecast going to be a great one, even by the time that first recess rolls around, because plenty of sunshine and quickly warming up. No worries on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Do want to talk about that fire risk that we mentioned earlier. And that's because our humidity is going to drop so much. That's really going to be throughout northwest Arkansas and into northeast Oklahoma as well. Still, they got that high pressure system hanging over the Midwest, so everything kind of pushes out toward the Pacific Northwest. Most of the storm systems are really broken up. A whole bunch of rain that was along the mid-Atlantic yesterday, it's a thing of the past. They are going to get some lake effect snow up there on the Great Lakes, but really nothing behind this. And with that wind coming in from the southwest south, recipients of much warmer weather. How about close to 70 degrees later on today? I'm not going to be surprised if we don't throw a 70 up every now and then. We'll even it out, say about 68 with a good south wind, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now overnight, that wind's going to die down, mostly clear skies. Now speaking of overnight, you'll see a little pop of green. It shows up here on Future Track. It's going to be very light sprinkles for the most part, even if you do see any raindrops. Majority of the 4 states, whoop, there it is. Majority of the 4 states will not. And even though Wednesday is not going to be as warm as what we experienced on Tuesday, it's still not going to be too bad at all. Look at national perspective, shows you there's what I was talking about with the cold front retreating. It's just going to head right back up to the north. Even overnight, it has a hard time penetrating too far to the south. And most of the storm system is going to stay up in the upper plains. As far as what we've got on the 7-day forecast, we do see some additional chances of light rain there on Thursday. Our temperatures kind of stabilize, if not become more seasonable as we head into the weekend. But considering that 1 week ago today, we set a record with 15 below. That's right, just 1 week ago today, 15 below. And the fact that we're talking about 70s today, number one, it's an amazing difference. Number two, just makes it hard to beat. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page. Survey shows many Americans are itching to travel. Tourism in Las Vegas, it plummeted last year. City is betting on life to start to return to normal in 2021. Wendy Gillette reports from Vegas on what's new in the city this year and the COVID precautions that properties are taking.
Circa in downtown Las Vegas opened its hotel a few days before 2021, ushering in a wave of new offerings this year. On Fremont Street with a pool, amphitheater, and the world's largest sports book, the adults-only hotel is the first newly built downtown resort to open in 4 decades. Sir Richard Branson's Virgin Hotels is taking over the former Hard Rock Hotel and plans a late March debut. And then there's Resorts World, built from the ground up and opening this summer on the Las Vegas Strip. Crockford's is one of 3 hotels, along with a Hilton and Conrad, that will be part of the $4.3 billion complex. It's an LXR hotel, Hilton's newest luxury brand.
It shows the resiliency of Las Vegas, and it talks about the desire for travelers to come back to this great destination when things are back again to somewhat of a normal level.
Until everything is back to normal, safety precautions will remain in place. If you haven't been to Vegas lately, that means mandatory face masks in public spaces. Individual properties have their own measures, such as thermal scanners at the Venetian. And at MGM hotels like Bellagio, there are plexiglass barriers at table games, contactless guest experiences, physical distancing policies, and more that you can't see.
You can hear our air that's being pumped in right now. That's a very important part of our protocols. So we're pumping in as much outside fresh air as possible.
MGM's plan also includes a very unusual site in a casino, custom-built hand washing stations with soap and water, and signs reminding people about the importance of washing your hands during the pandemic. Brunel says only 19 million tourists visited Las Vegas last year, down 55% from 2019. So what's your hope for 2021?
Well, our hope for 2021 is that as we hit March, April, May, June, and frankly, as we get into the third quarter, that there will be enough vaccinations as well as individuals that have recovered from the virus that we will see a good amount of herd immunity.
He's hoping soon that will be a sure bet. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Las Vegas.
2 new residencies planned this year. You got Usher at Caesars, Donny Osmond at Harris. Our question to you on Facebook and our Insta poll: where do you want to travel, and do you even plan on traveling? You can log on, give us your comments, or go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Healthwatch next.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, snow and record low temperatures have stalled shipments and deliveries of COVID-19 vaccines across the U.S. may create delays for those set to get their second dose. Others scheduled to get their first shot may have had their appointment canceled. Mandy Gaither has more on what you need to know on vaccine delays.
When it comes to COVID-19 vaccines, it's a waiting game.
We know many Americans are awaiting their second dose, and many more their first dose.
Both vaccines on the U.S. market require 2 doses, intended to be given 21 days apart for Pfizer and 28 days apart for Moderna. But if your appointment for a second vaccine dose was canceled because of weather delays or power outages, the CDC says you should still have time to get fully vaccinated, and that second dose can be administered up to 6 weeks after the first shot.
We're asking vaccine administration sites to extend their hours even further and offer additional appointments, and to try to reschedule their vaccinations over the coming days and weeks as significantly more supply arrives.
2 letters to major medical journals provided fuel for the argument that with coronavirus vaccine scarcity, people can skip their second doses, immediately doubling the supply for others. But top U.S. health officials say it's too risky.
The reason is, even though you can get a fair degree of, quote, protection after a single dose, it clearly is not durable.
Last week, vaccination numbers were impacted because of the weather. As everything begins to get back on track, White House officials are asking states, vaccination sites, and those giving vaccinations to help the country catch up.
If we all work together, from the factory all the way to the vaccinators, we will make up for it in the coming weeks.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The White House announced over the next 2 weeks, 5 new COVID-19 vaccination centers will be opening up in Florida and Pennsylvania. Those sites chosen for their ability to help target vaccinations to those who are most vulnerable. Russian researchers say a genetic code responsible for virus detection may explain why some people don't even know they have COVID-19, while others get very sick and sometimes die. Study of patients from Russia and Spain found people with a particular genetic code do a poor job of detecting the virus, and their immune cells do not get the message to fight it. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Unseasonably warm today, all the way up close to 70 degrees. Going to be absolutely delightful. Watch out for the south wind, and also too, while we don't have any red flag advisories, no high wind warnings, anything like that, a little bit of an elevated fire concern down throughout northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas because our humidity will consistently drop. Overnight lows down to 40, can't beat that. Slight chance for light rain Wednesday morning. Majority of the 4 states stays dry, and then seasonable temps as we head into the weekend.
New evidence links together 2 homicide investigations in Newton and Jasper County. Plus, trial dates set for a Joplin man charged of child sex crimes. And the Newton County Health Department expects to receive more doses this week.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Another day of warm temps and sunshine. Here's Michael with a check on your forecast.
Warm temps may be an understatement by the time it's all said and done. We've been talking about that high pressure that was over the southwest yesterday. Now moving right through us in the Midwest, that leaves a clean Skywatch storm tracker and a whole lot of sunshine to warm us up. Already sitting low to mid 40s throughout southwest Missouri, 30s in southeast Kansas. Still waiting on Miami, Grove, and Welch to get to that 30-degree number, but wait until the afternoon. We're all going to be up into the 60s easily. A little southwesterly breeze, but not as blustery as what we had yesterday, and it's really not putting too much of a bite in our wind chills. Very, very comfortable considering that it's the latter third of February. Bus stop forecast up in Adam Kiddo's. Sunrise at 6:57, quickly warming up by the time we get to that first recess, with all the snow staying up in the Pacific Northwest and the Great Lakes. As far as future track, if you see a little sliver of green pop up right there, a little light rain, but it's not going to amount to anything. Majority of the 4 states won't even notice it. 7-day forecast shows us we'll get some seasonable temps here as we head toward the weekend, but still extremely nice. Remember, Tanya, it was just 7 days ago we set an all-time record for, what would that have been, the 16th, when we were 15 below zero. 15 below to about 70. 7 days.
Wow. You know what? I will take these temperatures over that any day for sure.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, about an 83-degree difference right there.
Yeah, beautiful today. Looking forward to it. All right, thanks, Michael. Jasper County and Newton County Sheriff's Offices are working together on a homicide investigation. That's because the victims were found in each of their counties. The murders happened over the weekend. Authorities have identified 2 of the victims found in Avila, Missouri. They were 34-year-old Mason McClure and 34-year-old Nicole Hodges. Investigators say both victims had multiple gunshot wounds. The third victim, 25-year-old Briley O'Banion, was found in a ditch along State Line Road and Angus Drive in Newton County. Authorities have arrested Kevin Johnson, a 24-year-old from Reeds, in connection with the murders. Johnson is charged in Jasper County with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of armed criminal action. Newton County Health Department Administrator Larry Bergner says the department is getting 975 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine this week. Bergner says the department will be partnering with Prater's Pharmacy in Seneca and Mitchell's Pharmacy in Neosho to provide greater access to the vaccine in the county. The health department is having an appointment-only clinic on Thursday in Neosho, and the pharmacies are setting clinics at their locations. City of Joplin's mask mandate is set to expire at the end of the month, and with dropping case numbers, city leaders will have to decide whether to renew it. The first mask mandate was put into place in July of 2020, and the current mandate went into effect in November of last year. The mayor tells us they may have a special meeting later this week if it's something the city council wants to discuss. He says it may be a hard discussion since the positivity rate and average number of new cases a day are both in the single digits.
With one hand, you can say it's working so well, it's doing its job, why would you pull it? And on the other hand, you might say, you know, we've weathered the storm, you know, just on, you know, after last week, and we feel like we're at a place where we can afford to pull it now. And I can't speak to council on that. I'm sure it'll be weighing out those 2 things.
There's currently 40 active cases in Joplin, and there's been 124 deaths. A trial date has been set for a Joplin man charged with multiple child sex crimes. Daniel Franklin heads to court March 9th, with 4 days set aside for trial. His charges include multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. The warmer weather is officially here, thank goodness, but many four-staters are still dealing with the effects of the winter storm, and others are waiting on those effects. Power bills could spike for many across the area, including Oklahoma.
Cold caused major challenges to our energy supply. Renewable sources like wind and solar dropped to almost zero production. Natural gas wells froze and compressor stations went offline. That left utility companies really scrambling to buy extra energy on the spot market at skyrocketing prices. Because of that, I know many Oklahomans are worried about what this could mean for their utility bills. And I want you to know that we're going to do everything we can to help you and your families get through this.
Stitt says he's working with state leaders to come up with a plan to help with energy bills. Yesterday, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly declared Supermarket Appreciation Day. Though supermarket appreciation is a bit of a misnomer, we're not appreciating the supermarkets, rather the people who work there and serve us, even if it means putting their own lives at risk. Rena Flores has the story.
Topeka's Hy-Vee store hosted the signing of Supermarket Appreciation Day. This day will be proclaimed to recognize the heroes we see in our everyday lives.
Thank you to Governor Kelly for bringing attention to the important role that supermarket employees play in our daily lives, and especially the work and sacrifice they have made during these unprecedented times.
Cashiers, bakers, and supermarket owners have kept these stores open in a pandemic, and they have done it without hesitation.
Today and every day, they deserve our thanks and appreciation for their courage and their dedication. To all of the employees here today, you have my sincerest gratitude for your work. Thank you for feeding our communities in the face of such uncertainty.
Grocery stores are the backbones of local communities.
While others were able to stay home, supermarket employees did not. They got up every day and they went to work.
All during the pandemic, employees made sure the stores were clean and the shelves were stocked.
And with that, I'm going to read the proclamation and then I will sit down and sign it.
Again, that was Rena Flores reporting. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. A koala that's living up to his name with the help of a dentist. Plus, tension is growing between the U.S. and Iran over a nuclear deal. We'll have the latest, but first it's 5:37.
Gorgeous day, quick warm up all the way into the 60s by the noon hour, topping out in the high 60s, close to 70 degrees. And the wonderful thing is we don't have to worry about any severe weather. Even the rain that we do see on Wednesday and Thursday, that's going to remain light, and the majority of the four states stays dry. Headed into the weekend, close to 50 there on Friday. It'll be a little bit cooler, especially coming off of our 70 on Tuesday, and then a pair of 57s on Saturday and Sunday. It's hard to believe that we're getting ready to close down the month of February. We're not going to challenge any record today, but hey, find a reason to get outside and enjoy it, because another nice aspect about this, we're not going to have to put up with those 30-mile-an-hour gusts that we had yesterday. We're just going to roll 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the south-southwest. We'll be right back with World Watch right after this.
Topping World Watch, growing tension between the U.S. and Iran over the prospect of an American return to the Islamic Republic's nuclear deal with the West. U.S. says Iran must show strict compliance. Iran says it may boost its uranium enrichment much closer to weapons grade. Rich Edson has the latest.
As the Biden administration calls on Iran to curb its nuclear program, the Iranian government is blocking nuclear weapons inspectors.
Iran must comply with its safeguards agreements with the IAEA and its other international obligations.
Iran is eliminating a provision allowing snap inspections of sites in Iran, though Iranian officials will reportedly allow some inspections for the next 3 months. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has announced the United States' return to diplomacy with Iran. a willingness to meet with Iranian officials and the other countries that signed the 2015 nuclear agreement. The Biden administration says it will return to the nuclear deal that President Trump withdrew from only if Iran stops violating the terms of the deal first.
What we're willing to do is sit at a table and have a diplomatic conversation. Iran is a long way from compliance, and that hasn't changed.
Republicans say a return to the agreement would give the Iranian regime funding to build missiles and finance militias.
We should not be going back to the table with the Iranian regime. We should be promoting Middle East peace, not breaking it down by going back to Iran.
Several former U.S. officials say those discussions potentially began years ago. That during the Trump administration, those now serving in the Biden administration were in contact with Iranian officials, urging them to wait out President Trump. For his part, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has vowed not to back down, and that Iran could boost its uranium enrichment to 60%, short of the 90% needed to make an atomic weapon, though much higher than allowed under the 2015 nuclear deal.
The administration says it is also in discussions with Iran's government about American hostages held there, though Iran's foreign ministry says there have been no direct discussions with American officials. The wife of the notorious convicted drug kingpin known as El Chapo has herself been arrested on drug charges. On Monday, Emma Coronel Espero was taken into custody at Dulles International Airport in Virginia on international drug trafficking charges. Prosecutors say she participated in a conspiracy to distribute cocaine, meth, heroin, and marijuana to be imported into the U.S. The European Union will impose new sanctions on Russia over Alexei Navalny's prison sentence. The Kremlin critic is spending 2.5 years behind bars for violating parole when he was flown to Germany for treatment for poisoning. Russia's foreign ministry calls the sanctions illegal and disappointing. EU says it needs to do more to support those in Russia defending political and civil freedoms. The new police officer unit is gliding into duty in Karachi, Pakistan. Armed rollerblading officers are now patrolling the streets of Pakistan's capital. The 20-person unit was created to help watch the bustling streets where people are often victims of harassment or theft. Officers say they're able to fit down narrow alleyways and roads better than motorcycle units and have more speed than officers on foot. That's right. The team is made up of 10 men and 10 women. How fun, rollerblading cops. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tom. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Instapoll survey showing many Americans itching to travel. Tourism in Las Vegas plummeted. Our question for you is if you have any travel plans when the pandemic ends, or on Facebook, where would you like to go? Our own Will York says want to go to either New York to visit the Nintendo store or Japan to see Nintendo headquarters. Stacy Kirkpatrick, a trip to Ireland. Roy Mercer plans on going crazy. Roy says it was a short trip from the start. Becky Mingarelli, Vegas, baby. Becky didn't say baby, but I just stole the line from Swingers. She says it's been a couple years now since we've been there. It is our go-to vacation spot. Rocky Cunningham, going to work just like I did before and during this whole nightmarish China virus and mask paranoia started. Love you, Aunt Pat. This is a pretty cool picture Guy sent right here. Instead of the long drive, I'm itching to make my next trip to upstate New York by train. Amtrak dining car looks better than my bucket seat. That's pretty cool, Guy. I like that. Michelle Pacini, beautiful morning to you, KOAM and Mama. Hello, Michelle. I truly get panic attacks, have for years, and trust me, they're no fun. One thing that triggers mine, being around other people. Add COVID, and for me, doctor and grocery shopping's a nightmare, so just getting back to normal life with no additives is going to be my vacation. God is great. Club member, Christina Hoffman says nowhere. Pandemic didn't stop any of my plans to begin with. Those who really love me showed up to my wedding no matter how far they lived, no matter what was going on in the world. I have this one life to live, and literally nothing or no one will stop me from doing so. Period. As far as the Instapoll goes this morning, right now, 52% of you say no, or don't plan on going anywhere. 48% say, yeah, you got travel plans. We'll keep updated on this. You can make your voice heard. Go to KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. We got the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. President Biden led a national moment of silence to remember more than 500,000 Americans killed by COVID-19. On Monday, the U.S. became the first country to surpass that grim milestone. Worldwide coronavirus death toll is now approaching 2.5 million. Jasper County and Newton County Sheriff's offices are working together on a homicide investigation. Authorities have identified 2 of the victims found in Avila, Missouri. They were 34-year-old Mason McClure and 34-year-old Nicole Hodges. Investigators say both victims had multiple gunshot wounds. The third victim, 25-year-old Briley O'Banion, was found in a ditch along State Line Road and Angus Drive in Newton County. Authorities have arrested Kevin Johnson, 24-year-old from Reeds, in connection with the murders. Johnson is charged in Jasper County with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of armed criminal action. A trial date is set for a Joplin man charged with multiple child sex crimes. Daniel Franklin heads to court March 9th with 4 days set aside for trial. His charges include multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. Newton County Health Department Administrator Larry Bergner says the department is getting 975 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine this week. Bergner says the department will be partnering with Prater's Pharmacy in Seneca and Mitchell's Pharmacy in Neosho to provide greater access to the vaccine in the county. The health department is having an appointment-only clinic on Thursday in Neosho, and the pharmacies are setting clinics at their locations. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Clattering you hear over is me dropping stuff in the Skywatch Weather Center. Gotta tell everybody what that was because it was probably distracting. My apologies. I got excited because it's been a long time since I used the old fresh air forecast graphic, because you can't do it when temperatures are 15 below like it was 1 week ago. But if you're going to give me sunshine and 70 degrees, we're going to bring the graphic back out. A little south wind, 10 to 15 miles per hour. A little bit more seasonable as we head into the weekend, but still extremely nice for this time of February. A little light rain on Wednesday. Majority of the 4 states stays dry. All the latest on the Skywatch weather app.
A global quest to help a 3-footed koala in Australia has ended after support came from right down the road. CBS's Ian Lee has the story from London.
This 4-year-old koala was dealt a bad hand early on. Veterinarian nurse Marley Christian rescued the marsupial next to his dying mother, only to discover the baby koala was missing a foot.
With the bone, it's sort of protruding, so it does give him a fair bit of discomfort.
He was named Triumph, but struggled to climb or even walk. Prosthetic companies around the world, including in the U.S., tried to help him, but every attempt failed. That's until Marley spoke with local dentist John Duhlman.
I thought to myself, surely I can have a go at manufacturing something for him, because that's what I do. I make dentures for people.
His prosthetic fit perfectly, giving Triumph a new grip on life.
Once I put the little boot on him and he did this little jump and then he was running around and climbing, I actually cried.
But Duhlman isn't quite satisfied with his work, especially with all of Triumph's scratching.
I'm in the process of coming up with a couple of different designs, see if we can do something a bit better at the bottom here. But it was a great feeling to be able to help him.
You got it?
And with each step, Triumph is living up to his name and making the trek triumphantly. Ian Lee, CBS News.
Triumph is almost 5 years old now and will need to spend the rest of his life in captivity so he can get the special care he needs.
Koala's name is Triumph?
Triumph.
Like the sock puppet dog?
I'm not familiar with the sock puppet Triumph.
I'll tell you during the commercial break.
Okay, I'm excited about this.
Okay. If your morning routine includes Facebook, you can always go, hey, what happened to the top part of my head? You go to Michael Hayslip, KOAM. Got a quick hitter of your morning forecast on there. That's, of course, the same one that you can find on your Skywatch weather app. And that is downloadable for all your mobile devices. It is absolutely free as well. And while you're on Facebook, switch on over to KOAM. Take part in our Something to Talk About. This morning, we're asking where you want to travel when the pandemic is over. John Trebian says, staying right here in the beautiful USA, many places to go and people to meet. Good morning, KOAM. Good morning, America. We say good morning, John. Sabrina Standridge, she would like to go to Ireland, please. April Christine, She doesn't care where. She says, just let me go. And Bob and Linda Koch, I prefer to travel in our local area as the local businesses really need our support right now. Appreciate that, Bob and Linda. All right, as far as our Instapoll goes this morning, we're just asking if you plan on taking off anywhere when the pandemic is over. Right now, a little bit of an uptick. That's how quickly we can update that. 57% saying no, not going to travel even when the pandemic is over. You can make your voice heard. Go to KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. We'll be right back after this. It's going to be an absolutely gorgeous Tuesday in store for us as temperatures already in the 40s in southwest Missouri, 30s in southeast Kansas. Still waiting on northeast Oklahoma. Creep up the thermometer right there. Only 24 right now in Miami, but just give it a little time. Let that sun take effect. It'll rise at 6:57 on the bus stop forecast, and by the time the kids get to that recess, it's going to be absolutely delightful. Don't have to worry about canceling anything today because we're going to get close to 70 degrees now. Remember, it was just 1 week ago. We were at 15 below. That's right. In the span of 1 week, we got about an 83-degree difference on our hands. Temperature is going to return to seasonable from Tuesday into the weekend. Certainly not too bad. A little light rain there on Wednesday and Thursday. Majority of the 4 states stays dry. And all the latest for you on the Skywatch weather app.
New evidence links together 2 homicide investigations in Newton and Jasper County. Plus, trial date set for a Joplin man charged of child sex crimes. And the Newton County Health Department expects to receive more doses this week.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. I'm looking forward to another day of warm temps and sunshine here in the 4 states. Here's Michael with a check on your forecast.
Well, we're not going to challenge any records. I'll tell you what, it's a far cry from where we were during the cold front. Off to a gorgeous start. Clear, crisp, clean as can be. Already sitting mid-40s there in Neosho. Now we've got Miami and Grove bumping up to 30 to join everybody in southeast Kansas as well. Freeman Health System Sky Camera in Joplin. 42 degrees. Look at that nice wind. It's kind of calmed down since yesterday. Of course, that was what fed us the warmer temperatures. We got up into the high 50s yesterday. Every now and then you saw 60. What if today is even going to be better? On the bus stop forecast, sunrise at 6:57. Whole lot of sunshine. And the south breeze just comes in 10 to 15 miles per hour. Pacific Northwest up to the Big Sky Country and Great Lakes. That's about the only action that we're going to see in the contiguous 48. And we're going to get up here close to 70 degrees this afternoon. Any rain that we do see, you'll see a little sliver of green want to pop up here early Wednesday morning. Majority of the 4 states going to be absolutely dry. And while seasonable temps do return as we head toward the weekend, certainly not too bad coming off of the cold front. Get outside, take advantage of that right there. Those February days like that, they don't roll around too often.
Yeah, can't complain about that too much, Michael, right?
Say what?
Can't complain too much.
Not complaining. Me?
Yeah, you know, I don't know why I say can't complain too much. You can't complain at all
Not
about
for
that,
today.
for sure.
Not for today.
Yeah,
You can't.
it's going to be beautiful.
Too good.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, investigators say the murders of 3 people in 2 counties are connected. The crimes happened in Newton County and in the town of Avila, Missouri, in Jasper County. Authorities have identified the 2 victims found in Avila. They were 34-year-old Mason McClure and 34-year-old Nicole Hodges. Investigators say both victims had multiple gunshot wounds. The 3rd victim was found in a ditch along State Line Road and Angus Drive in Newton County. That 3rd victim was 25-year-old Briley O'Banion.
At this time, we have no indication that other people were involved. As with any investigation, you know, information could come to light at a moment's notice, and which might change our belief on that.
24-year-old Kevin Johnson of Reeds, Missouri is charged in Jasper County with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of armed criminal action. No other suspects are being sought at this time. Police say all 4 people involved were acquaintances of each other. There's no clear motive as of yet. A trial date is set for a Joplin man charged with multiple child sex crimes. Daniel Franklin heads to court March 9th with 4 days set aside for trial. His charges include multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. Newton County Health Department Administrator Larry Bergner says the department is getting 975 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine this week. Bergner says the department will be partnering with Prater's Pharmacy in Seneca and Mitchell's Pharmacy in Neosho to provide greater access to the vaccine in the county. The health department is having an appointment-only clinic on Thursday in Neosho. The pharmacies are setting clinics at their locations. Joplin city officials say things are looking up as coronavirus numbers continue to decline in the city. KOAM's Zach Dodge has the numbers and what might happen with the mask mandate that's going to expire in less than a week.
On the COVID front, our numbers are absolutely improving.
Some good news for officials and residents after a long and stressful year. Ryan Talkin with the health department says the 7-day rolling average for Joplin is down to 7 cases per day. The positivity rate is at around 7%, and there are only 40 active cases.
We are absolutely feeling like we're in a strong position.
One of the city's biggest responses to the pandemic is the citywide mask mandate. It was first implemented in July of last year and then reinstated in November after the first mandate expired in August. It's set to expire at the end of the month again, so the question is, will it be dropped or extended with the numbers looking better?
I feel that masking works. Masking is part of the toolbox to control spread.
But that's not really surprising to hear, so we decided to do an informal survey at 2 area businesses, seeing how many people are wearing masks now. From what we saw in a 45-minute span, between the 2 businesses, 115 people were wearing masks and 47 were not. Mayor Ryan Stanley plans to ask the council about holding a special meeting this week to make a decision on the issue.
With one hand, you can say it's working so well, it's doing its job, why would you pull it? And on the other hand, you might say, we've weathered the storm, just on, after last week, and we feel like we're at a place where we can afford to pull it now. And I can't speak to council on that. I'm sure it'll be weighing out those 2 things.
In Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Health Department has also rescheduled the second dose mass vaccine clinic with the National Guard that was canceled last week. Talkin says residents who will be getting doses will be called this week either by the Health Department or the National Guard. After that, the Health Department will put out more information on the clinic publicly. City of Carterville is still without water following a break in the water main last week. Carterville Elementary is in session without water. However, officials with the Webb City School District say the school had been out the past 2 weeks and the district had time to prepare. Superintendent Tony Rossetti says the restrooms are functional. Every classroom has a water station for the kids and food service has fresh water. Bottled water was also made available. According to the City of Carterville, crews are continuing to work on the line. Hope to have water back on by noon today. 6:07.
The reemergence of the fresh air forecast. Don't like to bust it out when we're in the midst of a cold front. We got to talk about snow and all that stuff. And so this gives you an idea. We got a taste of spring on our hands today. Sunshine, close to 70 degrees, just a little south breeze. I do want to say, watch out for the elevated fire risk down throughout northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. That's just a result of our dropping humidity. Well, there's a chance for some light Wednesday rain, not going to amount to anything. Probably some sprinkles is all you'll see, and you got to be down in the south to even find it. And then we cruise into the weekend. Finally, don't have to worry about the cold front. Tanya, all that snow piled up that we still got some, whether it be from the plows or people shoveling the driveways or everything, is gone after today.
Yeah, the big pile that we shoveled from our driveway is still there, but there's nothing around it.
Give it an afternoon in the 70s.
Oh wait, there is something around it. A lot of mud.
There you go.
A lot of mud. All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories in weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a moment of silence held yesterday.
The death toll from COVID surpasses 500,000. I'm Deborah Alford in Washington with how the president marked this monumental loss.
Plus, a look into the impact of the pandemic and safety concerns have put on investors and travelers. And our own Jesse Irwin discusses children overcoming rare diseases. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Money Watch this morning, as the air travel industry tries to recover from a massive plunge in bookings due to the pandemic, now airlines worldwide are dealing with a major safety scare that's grounded Boeing 777 jetliners. Mandy Gaither has a look at how this latest investigation is impacting investors and travelers.
A mid-air scare raising concerns worldwide. Airlines in the U.S., South Korea, and Japan grounding dozens of Boeing 777 jetliners after this fiery incident. A plane heading from Denver to Honolulu suffering engine failure shortly after takeoff Saturday, sending debris crashing down over Denver.
I think this aircraft is going to stay on the ground for a while until the inspection process is reviewed and we are sure that it can catch these little minute flaws.
Federal aviation regulators order stepped-up inspections of Boeing 777s that use Pratt & Whitney jet engines in response. This latest safety scare comes at a difficult time for the global aviation industry as it tries to rise from the heavy losses caused by the pandemic's impact on travel.
There are approximately 1,300 777s flying around the world, most of them powered by General Electric or Rolls-Royce engines, and they are not impacted.
For Boeing, this comes after a nearly 2-year grounding of its best-selling 737 MAX jet following 2 deadly crashes in Ethiopia and Indonesia. Boeing reported a record loss of nearly $12 billion in 2020. Raytheon, the maker of the Pratt & Whitney engine that blew apart after takeoff on that Denver flight, also taking a hit. On Monday, shares of Raytheon and Boeing fell during U.S. trading.
Although it's on a Boeing aeroplane and we all call it the Boeing 777 engine, it's a Pratt & Whitney issue and they need to step up very robustly to fix up this engine for their customer airlines.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither reporting.
Chief of the Cherokee Nation wants Jeep to stop using its name. Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. believes corporations and sports teams should stop using Native American names. Jeep's parent company says the Cherokee brand, around since the 70s, is meant as an honor and celebration of Native American people. The Grand Cherokee is Jeep's best-selling model. The company that owns Dom Perignon and Louis Vuitton is acquiring a 50% stake in Jay-Z's champagne brand, Armand de Brignac, commonly known as the Ace of Spades. It's produced in France's Champagne region and has been popularized through Jay-Z's music videos over the years. LVMH said the bubbly brand breaks barriers and reflects contemporary luxury. Fancy. Theme park giant Six Flags says it plans to open all 26 of its amusement and water parks for the 2021 season. One safety measure the company is taking is to require reservations and limit the number of people in its parks. Additionally, mask and temperature checks will be required for all workers and guests. Six Flags will also encourage social distancing on rides, in lines, and in other areas, including seating areas. That's it for Money Watch. We'll be right back.
Check it out. This is what happens when the cold front can get out of here and the sky camera resumes action and we get to enjoy gorgeous February sunrise. It's been a while before I was able to get the camera unfrozen, quite frankly, when we had the ice and the snow. Absolutely gorgeous look outside of Television City, where our weather almanac would say our average high this time of year is 53 degrees. We've already been able to throw up a 50 and haven't even gotten the sunrise as of yet. Now, temperatures ranging in the mid-40s throughout southwest Missouri, Miami and Grove finally getting to the 30-degree mark to join Parsons at 32, though Oswego in there as well. Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin. Skies will lighten up here. Next shot we get of it where we sit at an even 42 degrees. Watch the winds begin to die down. That's kind of a nice thing. Not as blustery as what it was yesterday, and still able to feed us the southwestern warmth. Bus stop forecast, speaking of sunrise, 6:57 is what we'll call it over Joplin, and quickly warming up, almost 50 degrees there by 9 a.m. as no worries on the Skywatch storm tracker. Cold front recedes, big sky country, Pacific Northwest, they can handle the snow and the rain, and we've got additional lake effect snow throughout the Great Lakes. Almost 70 degrees later on today. Just absolutely perfect for a February. A couple things I do want to point out, however. Elevated fire risks throughout northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. Humidity is just going to drop very, very quickly. So let's be extremely careful out there. But enjoy your Tuesday. This is going to be very slight, some sprinkles for the most part, and then seasonable temps as we ride into the weekend. Now, over to Jesse in the studio. Okay.
Well, in the world of pediatric research, the success stories of children overcoming rare diseases are what keep families hopeful. However, we don't hear about the decision-making process that those families have to go through beforehand. And so I just want to shed a little bit of light on those experiences. There are more than 7,000 rare pediatric diseases, and only 5% of those have an FDA-approved drug. And 1 in 3 children with a rare disease won't see their 5th birthday. And that's a cruel reality. But the reason that 1 child does see their 5th birthday, and the reason that 350 of those rare diseases do have an FDA-approved drug, is research. Each year, the National Institute of Health puts $1 out of every $10 in its research budget toward pediatric research. And recently opened in Kansas City, the Children's Mercy Research Institute collects genomic data from kids with these rare and complex diseases to assist in finding new treatments and cures. However, signing your child up to be part of a trial or any kind of research can be a very difficult decision for those families to make, especially when every choice and every second is that much more sacred. That's why Dr. Tom Curran, the executive director of the Kansas City Institute, stresses the importance of understanding and care for medical professionals when speaking with new families.
Because the families who partner with us are true pioneers. They're taking a chance on new technologies. And we can't promise, we can't say, oh, we'll definitely find a target, we'll definitely find a drug, because actually that can be pretty rare. So when we approach families, we make it clear that we're looking for answers. We can't promise you we'll find an answer, and the answer may not affect the therapy. So we want the families to know that they're actually real partners in discovery, and they're helping us treat future generations of children, even if they themselves don't directly benefit.
The genomic testing being done at the Research Institute has played a critical role in both the diagnosis and recovery of many kids already, and the goal is to acquire genomic information from as many as 30,000 children with rare or complex diseases. And by doing so, they'll be able to create a database of close to 100,000 genomes. This coming Sunday is Rare Disease Day, and not only are the majority of these children's, or of them genetic, these rare diseases, but get this, let me explain this. 70% of genetic rare diseases actually begin in childhood. It's one of the many reasons why pediatric research has the ability to make such a difference, and why these children and these families are pioneers who deserve all the credit in the world. So we'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, more than 500,000 Americans have died from the coronavirus, including about 100,000 since President Biden took office last month. The White House held a memorial last night to honor those lost. CBS's Deborah Alfarone is in Washington with more.
Amazing Grace played outside the White House as 500 candles burned to represent a grim milestone. 500,000 Americans have died from the coronavirus.
To remember so we can heal, to find purpose in the work ahead.
President Biden said the nation can't become numb to the sorrow.
As we acknowledge the scale of this mass death in America, we remember each person and the life they lived.
You know, there's people behind the numbers. I mean, our mom's behind that number, and it's really sad.
Wendy Jensen's mother, Carol, died last March when the number of dead from COVID-19 was less than 2,000.
I love you. That's the last thing you said.
Rebecca Riley's husband, Michael, died just before Christmas. More than 200,000 have since passed away from COVID.
It's indescribable, the pain. I don't know if you still get the, feels like you're literally being punched in the stomach.
With more than 44 million people having received at least one vaccine dose, President Biden promised better days ahead.
This nation will smile again. This nation will know sunny days again. This nation will know joy again.
The president ordered U.S. flags to fly at half-staff this week for those lost. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Recent storms disrupted vaccine deliveries, but White House officials say they should be back on schedule in the next few days. So far, the vaccination rate is outpacing President Biden's early goal of 100 million shots in his first 100 days. The number of COVID-19 cases among U.S. children keeps dropping. The American Academy of Pediatrics reports less than 71,000 kids tested positive for the virus last week. That's the 5th decline in as many weeks. Health officials say COVID-19 still poses a less serious threat to children compared to adults. Researchers in the UK say one dose of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine can reduce the risk of contracting the disease. Researchers looked at healthcare workers under the age of 65. They found that one dose of the vaccine reduced the risk of contracting the virus by 72%. 2 doses lessen the risk even more, by 85%. The scientists add that the vaccine also protects against the variant of the coronavirus the UK first identified back in December. COVID-19 has cut plenty of lives short, and researchers wanted to know exactly how many years it has claimed in total. Analyzed 1.2 million deaths across 81 countries, looking at how premature each death was. The final number, 20.5 million years. That's up to 9 times the time claimed by the regular flu on average. The researchers also discovered COVID cost men 45% more years of life than women. 3/4 of the years lost came from people under 75 years old, with almost 1/3 of them coming from people below 55. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
If that's any indicator of where we're headed on this Tuesday, it's going to be a glorious one. As a matter of fact, it's about going to be warm outside this afternoon. Temperatures already vaulting into the 60s by the time we get to the noon hour, topping out anywhere from about 68 to 70 degrees. Little south wind, not too bad. Now we got a slight chance for raindrops. It's going to be in the far south. It's not going to amount to anything for Wednesday morning. Temperatures after that as we head into the weekend, pretty seasonable for the latter third of February. Whole bunch of low 50s, high 40s on the board there. But have to remember, it was 1 week ago today that we bottomed out at 15 below zero. So when we top out this afternoon, we are looking at a difference of about 83 degrees in the span of 7 days. Get outside and enjoy it. And of course, you can always find the latest on the Skywatch weather app.
New evidence links together 2 homicide investigations in Newton and Jasper County. Plus, trial dates set for a Joplin man charged of child sex crimes. And the Newton County Health Department expects to receive more doses this week.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Another day of warm temps and sunshine. Looking forward to this one. I'm sure Michael is too. He joins us now with a first check on your forecast.
Even warmer than what we had yesterday, Tanya, and we were able to make it up to 58 degrees in Joplin. That's thanks in part to the high pressure that was over the southwest. Now moving over the Midwest, and so the Skywatch storm tracker just clean, clear, and as pretty as can be. Already seeing temperatures that have worked up into the 40s there in Carthage and Monette, throw Neosho in there. Miami and Grove took a little bit, but now into the 30s, and let's roll 34 in Chanute, 30 in Independence. So a little bit cooler in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma than what we're seeing in southwest Missouri, but not too bad nonetheless from the Freeman Health System sky camera, where we sit at 42 degrees at this 6:31 time period in the morning. A little bit of a wind chill in effect, really hasn't made that much of a difference, and the wind's actually going to die down. Going to be not as blustery as what it was yesterday. We're talking about almost 50 degrees there by 9 a.m. Perfect day for recess, kiddos, with sunrise officially at 6:57. Big Sky Country holds the majority of the rain and the snow, along with the Great Lakes. We don't have anything to worry about. You'll see a sliver of green pop up here early Wednesday morning, but it's going to be very, very light, and it's going to be very, very isolated right there. Not a whole lot of worries precipitation wise. Almost 70 degrees when we finish off this afternoon. A little bit more seasonable as we head into the weekend, but coming off of the 2-week cold front, certainly nothing to worry about. And also too, it was 1 week ago that we were at 15 degrees below zero. Now we're talking about 70s.
I'm ready for this change, so.
Going to be a perfect afternoon.
Yeah.
Be a perfect morning.
You know what? Yesterday at one point it was too hot in my vehicle. Like I couldn't get it cool enough, and I did not want to turn the AC on.
I think your body probably got used to that. I've noticed it. It's crazy. You know, you step outside anymore and it's like 35 degrees in the morning and you go, this isn't too bad. I think we got so acclimated to the 2-week cold front.
Well, force a habit, I grabbed my heavy coat because that's what I'd been wearing,
Right.
and it was just way too much. I needed the heat gone, and just like roll down the windows and enjoy the fresh air.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Michael. Jasper County and Newton County Sheriff's offices are working together on a homicide investigation. That's because the victims were found in each of their counties. The murders happened this weekend. Authorities have identified 2 of the victims found in Avila, Missouri. And they are 34-year-old Mason McClure and 34-year-old Nicole Hodges. Investigators say both victims had multiple gunshot wounds. The third victim, 25-year-old Briley O'Banion, was found in a ditch along State Line Road and Angus Drive in Newton County. Authorities have arrested Kevin Johnson, a 24-year-old from Reeds, in connection with the murders. Johnson is charged in Jasper County with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of armed criminal action. Newton County Health Department Administrator Larry Bergner says the department is getting 975 doses of the Pfizer COVID vaccine this week. Bergner says the department will be partnering with Prater's Pharmacy in Seneca and Mitchell's Pharmacy in Neosho to provide greater access to the vaccine in the county.
75 for our small clinic would be overwhelming, but with those partners in place, we can bring more resources in and we can take care of this 975 doses in good shape.
Health Department is having an appointment-only clinic on Thursday in Neosho, and the pharmacies are setting clinics at their locations. 29-year-old St. Louis man who battled COVID-19 for months in the hospital can finally go home. Ray Preston has his story.
29-year-old Joshua Miller has waited months for this day. In November, he and his wife were moving to St. Louis.
I was healthy as a horse, and one day I caught a fever, and then a week later I was in the emergency room.
We moved here from Arizona, and then within 2 days of living in our big empty house, I was dropping him off at the hospital.
Miller came very close to death.
There is no better word to describe this than terror. Just sheer terror.
He was put on an ECMO machine, which basically takes over for your lungs. It's the same machine that St. Louis motorcycle officer Dave Tenorio was on last year. He was on it for 10 days. Miller was on the machine for 60.
Yeah, it's been a very rough ride.
To boost his morale, Tenorio would visit.
He was able to take some of that hopelessness and to give me hope that my life will go back to normal.
And today, there was Tenorio among the well-wishers.
And I was just very grateful that I was able to come and talk to him a little bit.
And tell Miller, basically, things will be getting better. Months in a hospital bed near death, the little things in life became big things, like a simple visit from one of the family dogs.
They walked her through the door, and I started crying like crazy just because I missed my dog.
And it was not just a good day for Miller.
To see somebody that everybody was rooting for and is so young, to see them get through something like this is a major morale booster.
After everything that's happened, being able to spend even 1 minute with my loved ones is the greatest gift in the world. Yeah. Because I was this close to not having that anymore.
Again, that was Ray Preston reporting. Trial day, it is set for a Joplin man charged with multiple child sex crimes. Daniel Franklin heads to court March 9th with 4 days set aside for trial. His charges include multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. Attorneys who represent clients in the Missouri medical marijuana industry are concerned they might face discipline under a state Supreme Court directive that appears to put federal law in conflict with state law. The directive, which took effect July 1st, says attorneys cannot participate in or advise clients how to participate in acts that are illegal under federal law but legal under state law. Medical marijuana is illegal under federal law but was approved by Missouri voters in 2018. Attorneys drafting the constitutional amendment legalizing medical marijuana anticipated the conflict and included protections in the amendment's text for attorneys working in the legal marijuana industry. But attorneys still fear discipline. In a statement, a Supreme Court spokesperson said, quote, "Should the issue be raised in any case, it could come to the court to decide, and it is inappropriate for the court to comment on any pending or impending issues." That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News.
A Texas police department has dropped charges against a black teenager for walking home from work in the street during last week's snowstorm. I'm Deborah Alfarone with the teen's own words.
Plus, for our Something to Talk About on the KOAM News Now Facebook page, we're asking, where do you want to travel when this pandemic is over? We let you weigh in, but first it's 6:37.
20 minutes away from sunrise, and we're going to warm up quickly. It's going to be a delightful afternoon. Already into the 60s by the noon hour, topping out close to 70. And after today, a little more taste of seasonable February weather with low 50s, high 40s. Slight chance for rain on Wednesday. Going to be very, very light and stay down to the south for the most part. And we cruise into the weekend in the high 40s. Still a couple 57s up there on Saturday and Sunday, coming off of a 2-week cold front. Almost going to feel balmy outside. We'll be back with Nation Watch right after this.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, the Texas Police Department has dropped charges against a black teenager for walking in the street during last week's winter storm. Young man spent a night in jail, and now he and his family are speaking out. Deborah Alfarone has the latest on how this incident unfolded.
Hey man, whoop. You trying to get home?
Police body cam video shows the night 1 week ago, 18-year-old Rodney Reese was arrested while walking home in Plano, Texas. The crime? Walking in the street after a snowstorm.
Just because I'm black, that's it. Just because I'm black, I fit the description.
Police say someone called 911 concerned about a black male in a short-sleeve shirt stumbling in the brisk, wintry conditions. Plano officers try approaching Reese just minutes away from his home after he worked a shift at the nearby Walmart.
Sir, look, we just want to talk to you.
Oh,
all right?
Good. I'm on the way home. I'm straight.
Okay. Okay, but you're walking in the middle of the road.
All right. I understand that. Okay. I do this every night, literally. I'm straight.
Okay. You ain't cold or nothing?
No.
With that cheap shirt on?
Reese insists he didn't stop because he didn't need their help. Less than 2.5 minutes after first making contact, the teenager is placed in handcuffs.
Doing an investigation. I don't care. I'm going home.
You were officially detained.
No.
Yes, yes you are.
Bro.
Just relax, all right?
Just relax.
We're just trying to talk to you.
I got an anger problem. Please get off me. No.
Stop.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to touch.
Yeah, you didn't stop. Put your hands behind your back.
Reese was charged with being a pedestrian in the roadway, a misdemeanor, landing him the night in jail. That charge has been dropped. Plano Police Chief Ed Drain supports his officers for checking on Reese, but says this should not have ended with an arrest.
They should have taken him home, is where he should have gone.
Chief Drain says officers didn't know Reese's age, where he worked, or where he lived at the time of the incident. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Plano Police Department denies race was a factor in the altercation and is not yet committed to an internal investigation. A Senate hearing to confirm Attorney General nominee Merrick Garland stretches into its second day today. The Judiciary Committee will hear testimony from outside witnesses. The committee is expected to vote on Garland's nomination early next month. NASA releases new video of the Perseverance rover's landing on Mars last week. One NASA official called the high-quality images, quote, the stuff of our dreams. It's pretty cool. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. On the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Insta poll, asking if you have travel plans when the pandemic ends, or where would you like to go? We'll resume with Sheila Bach-Bradley. She's making plans for Cabo. Janet Estep. I've already traveled to the beaches of Florida twice in the last 6 months. I'd travel more, but for all the mandatory overtime at work. Dave Pitt Sr., Lynchburg, Tennessee. I know what's in Lynchburg, Dave. I got you. Will Batiste says, for one, this has been a plandemic from the start, and I haven't changed a thing, nor will I. As for going somewhere after this nonsense is all over, if it is ever over, nope, I like where I'm at just fine. James Smith, I get excited just to see a different town 15 miles away. Merle Bass says the plandemic done exactly what the illegitimate China puppet regime intended. Randy Davidson, he has what surveys? Oh, Randy, I'll look it up. I'm going to guarantee you it's going to be travel convention, and since that package was Vegas focused. I don't know, Randy, let me go back and look at that script, man. That's a good question. I don't want to let you down on that. I'll go back and find it. All right, the Instapoll. Wow. I was thinking about that survey Randy had a good question about. We've had a flip. Right now, 54% of you say yes, you're going to travel. It was sitting at about 53% to 57% with no's. Make your voice heard. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. And Randy, I'll try to get you that info here right when we get back.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Stefan Berhu, who was a member of the United States Marines. He served in 2005 during Operation Iraqi Freedom. His hometown, Carl Junction, Missouri. We are proud to salute Stephen Bear, our four-state hero.
The birthday list begins with Jalea Stewart. Big Jalea celebrating her second birthday in Lawton. Now that birthday was yesterday. We wanted to make sure we got the smiling kiddo on air. And this comes from Mom, Dad, Grandma, Tavion, Uncle Randall, and of course, don't forget Johnny.
All right, we head up to Iola to help celebrate birthday number 11 with Tanner Stitt. Hope it's a great one, Tanner.
Jacob Morrison celebrating his 17th birthday. Jacob, I want you to have a marvelous day. He's in Lamar.
Jediah Woods celebrating birthday number, or maybe it's Jada Woods. That's a pretty spelling, interesting spelling. 18 years old in Joplin, turned 18 yesterday actually. Happy birthday, Jada.
Alexis Edwards, this birthday wish coming from With Love from Mom. She turns 24 in Pittsburgh.
Erica Omi celebrated birthday number 33 yesterday. Hope it was wonderful for you.
We've got a 40 on the board for Valerie Snodgrass. Nice catch, Valerie. Nice catch. Love it. A happy birthday in Carthage.
All right. And we're celebrating birthday number 42 with Lisa Chaplin in Fort Scott. Love from the family.
In Erie, a happy 72nd birthday. Miss Donna McCoy, surrounded by family and friends right there.
All right, Mary Jane Gouvion is turning 78 years old this year. Happy birthday, Mary Jane.
And in Chetopa, Joyce Stapleton. Joyce, a very happy birthday to you.
All right, we'll stay in Chetopa and celebrate some birthday wishes with Brenda Reed. Linda Dole celebrating another year wiser in Arma, and Susan McCoy in Miami, Oklahoma.
Pat and Susan Ellis, congratulations on 30 years of marriage. Pat and Susan celebrating their anniversary in Humboldt. A happy birthday and happy anniversary to all. Here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right, you can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club by going to our website and signing up, and once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Just go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
All right, hang on. Becky Bingarelli got me. Becky, I'll get right back to you. I got to answer Randy Davidson's question. Randy had a great question here on Facebook when we were talking about that Vegas story. He goes, what surveys? What surveys are you talking about? Well, Randy, I went ahead and looked it up in the script. It's the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. That's the name of it, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. So no surprise that that's where Wendy Gillette was doing that story. And I appreciate your question as well. Sunrise over the satellite arrays from Television City. So nice to have the old sky camera back as we see an average high this time of year. That would be about 53 degrees, and we've already hit a 50. Now, it's not that warm right now, but it certainly is a delightful morning as we take a look at the high pressure system that now dominates the entire Midwest. As temperatures range anywhere from right about the freezing mark in Independence and Parsons. We've seen Miami and Grove bump up to 30 and consistent 40s throughout southwest Missouri. Freeman Health System Sky Camera in Joplin, where we find ourselves 7 minutes away from sunrise and already 42 degrees. Watch how the numbers decrease right here. It's not going to be as windy as what it was even overnight. So that's kind of a welcome relief. And then for the kiddos on the bus stop forecast, what a great recess time, as we'll be close to 50 degrees by the 9 o'clock hour. Once again, it's just a clean Skywatch storm tracker, big sky country, with the rain and the snow, and then some lake effect snow over the Great Lakes as well. We're going to get up close to 70 degrees. It was 1 week ago today that we bottomed out at a minus 15. And so that's about an 83 degree difference in the span of 7 days. Got a chance for some real light rain tomorrow morning. Not going to mount anything. You're going to have to push way to the south to even see it. a little bit more seasonable temps as we ride into the weekend, but coming off of our 2-week cold front, let's get out and enjoy it while we can. Be back, wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Got temperatures that are in the 30s and 40s right now. I was actually eyeballing something. I can flip on over. We'll see what other comments we got here. I got caught there talking about Randy's. And then Becky Mingarelli, Tanya, I got to tell you this much. She knew about Triumph, the comic dog, too. That was good. I appreciated Becky catching that. Harold Lemoyne. Harold's going to give himself a tattoo when it's all said and done. Daniel 6. This is pretty cool. He's got a Caribbean cruise planned. And Randy Davidson, he would like to attend the soon-coming tribunals for traitors. And Vicki Eldridge, no plans to go anywhere than the 4 states. Figure by the time the mask mandate across the U.S. and the world, the price of gas is going to be so high, can't afford to take a trip away from home. Of course, we'll continue to roll your comments here when we flip on over to Fox 14. Tanya?
Today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. President Biden led a national moment of silence to remember more than 500,000 Americans killed by COVID-19. On Monday, the U.S. became the first country to surpass that grim milestone. The worldwide coronavirus death toll is now approaching 2.5 million. Jasper County and Newton County Sheriff's offices are working together on a homicide investigation. Authorities have identified 2 of the victims found in Avila, Missouri. They were 34-year-old Mason McClure and 34-year-old Nicole Hodges. Investigators say both victims had multiple gunshot wounds. The third victim, 25-year-old Briley O'Banion, was found in a ditch along State Line Road and Angus Drive in Newton County. Authorities have arrested Kevin Johnson, 24-year-old from Reeds, in connection with the murders. Johnson is charged in Jasper County with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of armed criminal action. Trial date is set for a Joplin man charged with multiple child sex crimes. Daniel Franklin heads to court March 9th with 4 days set aside for trial. His charges include multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. The Newton County Health Department Administrator Larry Bergner says the department is getting 975 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine this week. Bergner says the department will be partnering with Prater's Pharmacy in Seneca, Mitchell's Pharmacy in Neosho to provide greater access to the vaccine in the county. Health Department is having an appointment-only clinic on Thursday in Neosho. Pharmacies are setting clinics at their locations. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Yeah, I just caught the back end of Randy Davidson's comment there. I did want Randy to know that I wasn't ignoring it. I was just trying to cruise through a couple because I got him his answer about the surveys. But he also says, including the corrupt media companies that are deep state anchors and reporters, says KOAM, they have your number 2. Randy, I want my producer thrown in there as well. He's actually standing right next to me here in the Skywatch Weather Center. And so that's why, the anchors and reporters. Caden, you down with that? He just shrugged, Randy. That's all I got out of him. It was a shrug. Tuesday morning day planner. Sunshine up into the high 60s. Throw a 70 up there later on. A little south wind, just 10 to 15. That Wednesday chance for rain. Got to work down far south. It's going to be very light. Majority of the 4 states stays dry. Seasonable temps. Very nice though as we head into the weekend.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making lemon butter fish fillets in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Morning news continues on KOAM. CBS Morning News coming up next.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And that's where we find our own Jesse Irwin.
Yeah, we're talking about pediatric research this morning. We're also going to be learning about Pakistan's police force. They are roaming the streets with some rollerblades now. So we'll have footage of that and more information as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting video when I saw that. Wraps it up for this edition. Get outside, enjoy a great, wonderful Tuesday. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.